Most people never question the small pill they swallow, especially when pain whispers through their joints, their back, or their head, demanding immediate silence. It feels harmless, ordinary, almost invisible, like a loyal servant that exists only to restore comfort and allow life to continue without interruption. But what if the very thing you trust to protect your strength is quietly negotiating away your future resilience, one unnoticed moment at a time? There is a turning point in every life when the body stops being something you control effortlessly and starts becoming something you must understand deeply. After the age of 40, the rules change. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but quietly, patiently, like the slow shifting of the earth beneath your feet. The signals become more subtle, the consequences more meaningful, and the decisions you make each day begin to shape not just how you feel now, but how you will live years from this moment. This is where awareness becomes power, because what you do repeatedly becomes what you eventually become. Many people believe strength is about endurance, about pushing through pain, about refusing to slow down, but true strength is about wisdom, about knowing when something small carries a greater cost than it appears. The truth is that convenience can be deceptive, and the easiest solution can sometimes lead you further away from the life you are trying to protect. You may not feel the change immediately, you may not see the impact tomorrow, and you may not recognize the shift until time has already carried you forward. There is something happening beneath the surface, something silent, something patient, waiting for the moment when your lack of awareness becomes impossible to ignore. This is why understanding the deeper story behind NSAIDs after 40. How pain relievers affect your gut and hormones is not about fear, but about awakening. Because the greatest danger in life is never the obstacle you can see, but the quiet compromise you make without thinking. When relief comes easily, it teaches you to stop asking questions. And when you stop asking questions, you stop protecting your future. Your body is not your enemy, and pain is not always your weakness, but a signal asking you to listen more closely to what is changing inside you. Every signal carries meaning, every sensation carries information, and every decision you make either strengthens your foundation or slowly weakens it. The challenge is that weakening rarely feels dramatic in the beginning. It feels normal, manageable, acceptable, until one day you realize that what once felt effortless now requires intention, patience, and care. This realization does not arrive to punish you, but to invite you into a deeper relationship with your own existence. And the moment you begin to understand that your daily habits shape your inner world, you reclaim a power most people never realize they have. Because your future is not created in dramatic moments, but in the quiet, repeated choices that no one else can see. The pill you take, the rest you ignore, the signals you silence, they all become part of a story that is still being written. And somewhere in that invisible story, a truth waits patiently, knowing that one day you will either discover it by choice or by consequence. The question is not whether your body is speaking, but whether you are ready to finally listen before the silence becomes permanent. Because the greatest transformation never begins with force, but with awareness. And awareness begins with a single moment of honesty. In that moment, you stop running from discomfort and start walking toward understanding. And that is where real strength is born. Not in the absence of pain, but in the courage to face what lies beneath it and to protect the future that still depends on you. Before it is too late to change your path forever and completely now. There comes a moment when everything still looks normal on the outside, but something deep inside has already begun to shift, quietly, patiently, without asking for your permission. You wake up, you move, you continue your routine, trusting that the same actions will always lead to the same results, believing that what helped you yesterday will protect you tomorrow. But the body does not live in yesterday, and it does not negotiate with assumptions. It responds only to truth. And truth often moves silently before it ever becomes visible. After 40, your body is no longer just surviving your decisions. It is recording them, adapting to them, and eventually reflecting them back to you in ways you cannot ignore. Every shortcut you take, every signal you dismiss, every time you silence discomfort instead of understanding it, you are shaping a future version of yourself that will either thank you or question why you waited so long to listen. The most dangerous part is not the pain itself, but the illusion that removing pain means removing the problem. Because pain is not the enemy, pain is the messenger. And when you silence the messenger without reading the message, the warning does not disappear, it simply finds another way to reach you. This is where suspense lives, in the invisible space between action and consequence, in the quiet period where everything feels under control, while something deeper is slowly losing balance. Your gut, the center of absorption, immunity, and internal communication, carries responsibilities far beyond what most people ever realize. It is not just digesting food, it is interpreting your environment, supporting your hormones, stabilizing your energy, and maintaining the internal harmony that allows you to feel alive, clear, and strong. When this harmony is disrupted, the effects do not arrive all at once, they arrive gradually, disguised as normal aging, disguised as fatigue, disguised as changes you accept because you believe you have no choice. But you always have a choice, even when you believe you do not. The phrase NSAIDs after 40, how pain relievers affect your gut and hormones, is not simply information. It is a doorway into awareness that most people never walk through. Because what happens beneath the surface does not ask for your attention. It simply responds to your behavior. And when the protective lining of your inner world weakens, it does not announce itself loudly. It whispers through subtle changes, through slower recovery, through reduced resilience, through moments when your energy fades sooner than it once did. You may wonder when it began, you may question why it feels different, and you may search for answers in places that only offer temporary reassurance. But the truth has always been closer than you realize. Your body is not failing you, it is adapting to you. It is responding to what you repeat, what you ignore, and what you believe is harmless. The suspense is not in whether change is happening, but in whether you will recognize it before it defines you. Because there is a point where the body stops asking and starts showing, where the quiet signals become undeniable realities. This is not meant to create fear, but clarity, because clarity is the beginning of freedom. The moment you realize that your daily choices influence systems you cannot see, you begin to move differently, think differently, and live differently. You stop chasing relief and start building resilience. You stop silencing signals and start interpreting them. And in that moment, you step out of the illusion of control and into the reality of responsibility. Because the greatest power you will ever have is not the ability to escape discomfort, but the wisdom to understand it before it transforms into something you cannot reverse. And that moment of understanding is closer than you think, waiting patiently for you to finally see what has always been there, hidden beneath the surface of your daily routine and waiting for your awareness to awaken fully now. Not in the absence of pain, but in the courage to face what lies beneath it, and to protect the future that still depends on you, before it is too late to change your path forever and completely now. The moment you become aware of what is happening inside you is the moment everything begins to change, because awareness dissolves illusion and replaces it with choice. You begin to realize that your body has never been working against you. It has always been working for you, protecting you, adapting for you, and waiting for you to understand the language it has been speaking since the day you were born. The discomfort you once feared becomes information. The fatigue you once ignored becomes guidance. And the signals you once silenced become invitations to build a stronger, wiser version of yourself. This is where true transformation begins, not in dramatic action, but in quiet responsibility. Because responsibility is not a burden, it is the doorway to freedom. When you understand the deeper truth behind NSAIDs, after 40, how pain relievers affect your gut and hormones, you stop seeing your body as fragile and start seeing it as intelligent, responsive, and capable of renewal. You begin to realize that every system inside you is connected, that your gut is not isolated, your hormones are not random, and your energy is not accidental. Everything responds to the environment you create through your habits, your awareness, and your willingness to listen. The power has never been outside you. It has always been within your daily decisions, waiting for you to recognize its influence. You start to notice the difference between temporary relief and lasting strength. Temporary relief feels immediate, comforting, and easy, but lasting strength feels intentional, patient, and deeply rewarding. It requires you to trust the process even when the results are not instant, even when the path is unfamiliar, and even when the old habits try to pull you back into unconscious repetition. This is the test that defines your future, the quiet moment when no one is watching, when you decide whether to continue the pattern or create a new direction. Because your life is not shaped by what you know, it is shaped by what you practice. And once you understand the truth, you cannot unknow it. You begin to respect your body differently. You begin to protect your energy differently. You begin to move through life with intention instead of assumption. This is not about perfection. It is about awareness. It is about choosing actions that support your long-term resilience instead of sacrificing it for short-term convenience. Every time you listen to your body, you strengthen your connection with it. Every time you support it, it supports you in return. Every time you choose awareness over avoidance, you reclaim control over your future. And slowly, almost invisibly, your body responds with greater clarity, greater stability, and greater strength. You realize that aging is not the loss of power, but the invitation to use power more wisely. You realize that resilience is not something you are born with, but something you build through consistent, conscious choices. And most importantly, you realize that it is never too late to change direction. The future is not fixed, it is shaped by what you choose today. This moment right now is your opportunity to step into awareness, to protect what has always been protecting you, and to build a foundation that will carry you forward with strength, clarity, and confidence. Do not wait for crisis to force awareness upon you. Choose awareness now while you still have the power to shape your path. Because the greatest act of self-respect is not ignoring the signals, but honoring them. And when you honor them, you honor your future self, the version of you that is waiting for the decisions you make today. If you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early. Because the greatest power you will ever have is not the ability to escape discomfort, but the wisdom to understand it before it transforms into something you cannot reverse. And that moment of understanding is closer than you think, waiting patiently for you to finally see what has always been there, hidden beneath the surface of your daily routine and waiting for your awareness to awaken fully now. Not in the absence of pain, but in the courage to face what lies beneath it and to protect the future that still depends on you. Before it is too late to change your path forever and completely now.